Hey everyone, Shabba Gamer here and welcome back to our WWE 2K17 Universe Mode. And this is our next episode of Smackdown Live from Birmingham, Alabama. And here is our first match of the evening. It's going to be a cruiserweight match and we are going to see Ariya Daivari taking on Tajiri one-on-one. And here we go, our opening match of the evening. And a great chance to see two brand new guys we haven't seen so far yet on this year's game. Now, both these guys will also be involved, of course, in our next Universe Mode as well, which will be the NXT. That's the words I'm looking for. NXT, what we're going to do in NXT, right? I've thought about this long and hard, and I've got a good idea, actually. Of course, you've got the NXT Championship, we've got the NXT Tag Team Championship, and the NXT Women's Championship. Now on 2K16 I tried to bring in a mid-card belt myself, and I've decided what I'm going to do instead is use the Cruiserweight Championship as the mid-card belt, so I think that's going to be a good way of doing it. But I quite like this Ariya Daivari. He looks very, very good actually. I'm quite happy with this, and I'll tell you what, one of the guys I was very surprised with in the Cruiserweight Classic, there was a couple of them that I knew probably about 80% of who was in the Cruiserweight Classic already. I'd seen them all on the indie scene already, and there was a few sort of people in that I'd not heard of before, or I heard of but not seen. Ariya Daivari being one of those guys. I didn't realise that that Daivari had a brother, and he ended up being incredibly good, and that's why obviously he's been signed up by WWE and is now being on Raw and NXT as well. So good work for him. Also, Mustafa Ali was another one I was very surprised with. He was very good. He was very good as well. I haven't got a call for him yet. I'm hoping that someone's going to create him sooner or later. There is a few people that have been creating all the Cruiserweight Classic guys. And I'm pretty happy with some of the quality of the cores we're getting. But this should be pretty good, this match. Two guys, like I said, we haven't seen as of yet. We've got the experience of Tajiri, and we've got the youth and exuberance of Ariya Daivari. This one could really go either way, and it's a big match for both these guys. Like I said, the first time we've seen either of them on this game, so it's a big opportunity for one of these two guys to really take it up to the next level and see what they can do. So it's going to be Tajiri and Ariya Daivari. The bell goes and we are underway. I wonder, I don't honestly know if this is right or not. You guys might be telling me out on this one. If I had, for example, a championship as the main championship on a show, can I then have can I have that same championship as a mid-card championship on a different show? Because I'm thinking now, could we possibly do, as part of our new universe mode coming up, that was going to start after this one, could we possibly do NXT as well as the 205 Live is one universe? We could do that. I'm thinking about that now, since it has started this week. The first episode was uploaded onto the network on Tuesday. And it was a big one, of course, Rich Swann winning the Cruiserweight Championship. So maybe we can do that ourselves. I say this Tuesday. It was probably last Tuesday, wasn't it? Yeah, so maybe we can do that ourselves. That's actually not a bad idea. We could have a look at doing that. Obviously, they wouldn't have a pay-per-view. They'd probably be... The pay-per-view would be joint with NXT anyway. But I'm sure if it's a major championship on one show, can you have it as the minor championship on another? Not a major problem if you can't, because we can still build Cruiserweight Championship matches. They're only going to be at TakeOver anyway, aren't they? So, I like that idea, actually. I do like that idea. Oh, Tajiri just clotheslines Daivari right to the outside. Because I think what we will do as well is when we do NXT, we'll be a little bit more outside the box. We'll bring a few guys from the indie scene in, I think, every now and again. Have a few big signings, we'll call them. But really, it's just a chance for me to get a few of my favourite wrestlers in there. Which should be easy enough, because a lot of my favourite wrestlers have now been signed by WWE anyway. Guys like Tommy End. Tommy End is one of my favourite wrestlers in the world, and he's recently been signed. Zack Sabre Jr. and Ricochet. Those are my three favourite wrestlers in the world. Zack Sabre Jr., Ricochet, and Tommy End. And one of them's with the WWE, and the other two are heavily rumoured to sign this year, which would be fantastic for me. I'd love to see him in there. Referee's up to a 6 count now as Tajiri throwing Daivari into the barricade. Now remember, if you are wondering why we're watching Cruiserweight action here on Smackdown, a few weeks ago. I think it was the week after Royal Rumble. We did announce that the Cruiserweight division was now going to be across both rosters, which I think is pretty cool. I like that idea. Here's the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Now, of course, we do have the Fastlane pay-per-view coming up for you next weekend, so keep an eye out for that. I do have 13 matches ready to go, so that's probably going to be... Again, we'll probably do it the same as the Rumble. We'll do it as 3 individual videos of 4 matches and probably 1 video of 5 matches. Two videos of 4, 1 video of 5. And I think it's been a pretty good show, actually. I'm looking forward to knocking that one out now. And then, of course, once we hit Fastlane, then it's all about the build-up. The last 4 weeks of build-up for the big finale in this universe mode, which, of course, is going to be WrestleMania. We don't know anything about WrestleMania yet, apart from what we do know that Austin Aries will be main eventing, facing off for the Smackdown Live World Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be either against, of course, the champion currently, AJ Styles, or the number 1 contender, who is Samoa Joe. Those 2 guys will go one-on-one at Fastlane next weekend. And like I said, the winner of that one will go on to face Austin Aries at WrestleMania. Our main event, or one of our main events at the main show. Now, I'm a little bit... I think that is going to probably be our main event, because it's the Royal Rumble winner. It has to be the main event, doesn't it? But I've got some cracking matches in mind. Big frog splash by Daivari. Can he pull off a victory against Tajiri? He can. Massive win here for Ariya Daivari. I must admit, I said at the beginning it could go either way, but I must admit I was not expecting it to go this way. And that is a huge win for Ariya Daivari. Like I said, we'll be seeing these guys a lot more in our next universe mode, of course, NXT. And if we do have a 205 live as well, that'd be... we'll see even more of these guys. Ariya Daivari arriving here on Smackdown Live. And here is match number 2 of the evening. Now, this is going to be a very good one. We've got the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, Dolph Ziggler, taking on Daniel Bryan. Both these guys will be in big profile matches at Fastlane. Of course, Dolph Ziggler will be going up against Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. And Daniel Bryan will be facing off one-on-one against The Miz. Now, of course, that's all come around, that match against The Miz, because of Daniel Bryan's return to the ring. Of course, we know the real-life issues between The Miz and Daniel Bryan, which had so much potential, but they seem to have cooled it now a little bit. But that whole promo by The Miz on Talking Smack a few months ago, where he basically just ripped into Daniel Bryan, and it was probably the best work The Miz has ever done, and one of the best heel promos I think I've seen in the WWE for many a year. And, of course, it worked out so well for us in this universe mode, because Daniel Bryan made his return at the Royal Rumble and eliminated The Miz from the Rumble in the process. Now, over the last couple of weeks, it's been very back and forth between those two. Daniel Bryan was due to face off against Samoa Joe in the main event of SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, but during his entrance, he was attacked by The Miz and unable to compete in that match, which is why Samoa Joe got that match at Fastlane. Last week, Daniel Bryan got a little bit of revenge attacking The Miz backstage. The Miz was due to be part of a fatal 4-way match between, of course, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Cedric Alexander and The Miz. Daniel Bryan attacked The Miz backstage in the locker room, and The Miz was unable to compete in that fatal 4-way and lost his opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. And that's what's led to that match at Fastlane between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. A match which I'm looking forward to seeing those two guys in the ring together. But of course, I think this match here this evening is going to be fantastic as well. Both guys really looking to build momentum moving forward into the Fastlane pay-per-view next weekend. There's a guy walking down the stairs. That's pretty cool. I didn't even realise they did that. I thought everyone was sort of in situ. Crowd really getting into the yes chant. The guy's walking back up the stairs now. Does he just do circles? I think he does, you know. I think he just does loops. No, he's sat down now. Bootios! So here we go then. Dolph Ziggler, the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, versus Daniel Bryan. Former Intercontinental Champion? Yes, he was, wasn't he? He was Intercontinental. Did he retire as the Intercontinental Champion and he had to relinquish the belt? I think he had to hand the belt over, didn't he? No, he didn't retire. He relinquished the belt and then went off because of his injury and then came back and retired. Which was such a shame because, like I say, he's such a good wrestler, but unfortunately for him, injuries just caught up. Too many concussions, too many neck injuries. It was just too much of him. I think that's one of the problems. Although I'm a massive fan of indie wrestling, one of the problems with indie wrestling is the amount you have to put your body through just to sheerly get noticed, and it's difficult. It really is for people. But that's the way it is, I suppose. It's happened to a lot of men. You look at the sort of stuff that Dean Ambrose used to do over in Combat Zone Wrestling and all sorts of stuff, really. I'm trying to think of other people now that did that sort of crazy stuff. Because you look at RVD and Sabu, you look at anyone ECW years ago, that sort of gives you a rough idea of the craziness that was going on, doesn't it, really? Daniel Bryan stamping on the gut of Dolph Ziggler. And it makes you wonder if Bryan picks up a victory here, could we expect to see a little bit more from him maybe at going forward to WrestleMania. Of course, he's locked in to this feud with The Miz up until Fastlane. Went for a springboard frog splash and Dolph Ziggler avoids it. Ziggler now stamping on the back of the arm of Daniel Bryan. That's going to sort of reduce the amount of pressure that Daniel Bryan could potentially lock in with that label lock. I don't know what you're supposed to call that now. I've always called that I've always called it the label lock because that's what it was called when he first came in. When he started changing it to yes lock and no lock, it just wasn't for me. I liked the whole idea of the yes lock and that, but I like the idea of the yes movement. It came out of nowhere. It did get very, very annoying very, very quickly, don't get me wrong, but it really helped to get him over to the next level. And with that, changing the finisher name, I prefer calling it the label lock. There's Daniel Bryan now going for some short kicks to the chest of Dolph Ziggler. And a big one, roundhouse to the side of the head as well. Bryan drops into the pin. 1, 2, and... Ooh, referee. I thought your hand hit the mat 3 times then. It looked to me like your hand hit the mat 3 times. Daniel Bryan now lining Dolph Ziggler up. This would be a very... Oh, Daniel Bryan, you've positioned that very, very badly. And Dolph Ziggler does get the rope break straight away. I just wish the game was a little bit more intelligent with that, really. It's a little bit annoying because it seems that quite often they're not very intelligent when it comes to submissions. Like normal finishers, they'll try and move them into the middle of the ring, but with submissions, I think they should try and drag them into the middle of the ring and then do it, rather than doing it in situ like what just happened there, where obviously Dolph Ziggler got the rope break straight away. Northern Light suplex, bridge and pin. This could be a great opportunity for Daniel Bryan to pick up the win. Oh, it's only a 2 count again. It can't be far away though, can it? It cannot be far away. Big knee drop. Bryan now bringing Ziggler back up, send him into the corner. Ziggler with a Faymaster on Daniel Bryan, dropping a boot into the back as well. Oh, Dolph Ziggler now showing why he's called the show off. And there's the zigzag. Dropped it in the pin. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2 count. I can't believe that both these guys have just dealt with the sort of stuff they've got, really. Daniel Bryan up onto the top. Likes to use the diving headbutt. Was that diving headbutt? That was a splash, that was, wasn't it? It looked like a diving headbutt. Daniel Bryan now dropping an elbow into the inside of the knee. Very, very, very painful. Now Daniel Bryan does lock in the label lock once again. Ziggler needs to think about his match next week at Fastlane, and he does tap out. He had to think about the match next week at Fastlane for the Intercontinental Championship. He knows that being locked in that submission hole for any longer than necessary could be detrimental to him. And he does tap out. I think, you know what, Dolph Ziggler lost this match, but I think that was the cleverest thing for him to do, was to tap out there. It would have been too dangerous for him to continue on, because he could have ended up really getting injured and scampering his chances for getting the championship next week. Great win here for Daniel Bryan, though. He continues to build his momentum, and I'm sure somewhere The Miz is backstage not very happy about what he's just seen. And here is our next match of the evening, and it is going to be a women's match. We're going to see a bit of Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Nice little rhyme as well. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Oh, God. And here comes Nikki Bella. We're not seeing much of the women. I keep forgetting about them, telling the truth. Because I'm building towards so many matches at WrestleMania, I seem to keep forgetting about the about everyone. It's so difficult to try and keep everyone in mind at the same time. It is literally it's a difficult job, but like I said, I've got a potential 15 match card for Mania. It may even be more than 15 actually. It could be 20. I don't know. It could be 20 matches. I'm not sure yet. I've got some pretty good matches lined out, like I said, but we will be having. I don't know what to do. I'm tempted to have a multi-women's match for Raw. I don't really want to have too many multi-person matches. But at the moment, I've got plans for a lot of multi-man matches. That's the problem I've got. Maybe just to get them on the roster, we could have like a women's battle royal before the show. Not necessarily not before the show, but early on the card, we could have a women's match, and then later on, then we can get into some of the more bigger women's matches, I suppose. Of course, at Fastlane, we are going to see Trish Stratus taking on our current SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. F-A-B-O-U-O-L-S. Got that wrong, though. F-A-B-O-L-O-U-S. Carmella. So I think, real life-wise, I think Carmella's done a fantastic job, hasn't she, really? Because she was a face, and she was a pretty good face, but when she turned heel, oh my god, did she do well. She really picked up so much heat so quickly. She's done a fantastic job. She never really got over... She got over as a face, but only really, I think, because she had Enzo and Cass. And it still seems bizarre to me that Carmella's on SmackDown and Enzo and Cass are on Raw. I think it would have made more sense for me to have them all on the same brand. But, yeah, then just put them back together as a threesome, because it would have worked quite well. But then again, if Carmella was going to go heel, which I think she is very good at being a heel, then maybe have her on SmackDown separate to the boys is probably a better idea, because I don't think Enzo could be a heel, really. I think at some point, I think Enzo might get attacked by Big Cass, and Big Cass might go heel and Enzo stay face. But I just can't see Enzo going heel at all. I think if Enzo did go heel, it would be the sort of heel you love to... The heel you love to love, I suppose, because you imagine the sort of mic work he'd be doing. Nikki Bella now sending Carmella off that side, and there's a running forearm. So like I said, we're going to be sort of trying to plan towards our WrestleMania matches, so it's going to be interesting to see just how these two ladies fare here this evening, and whoever wins, of course, is going to have a much higher chance of getting that WrestleMania opportunity. But like I said, I'm thinking possibly some sort of a multi-female match, maybe like a 6-woman battle royal as part of WrestleMania, maybe. just to utilise some more of the women on the roster that are not part of the championship matches. It's a shame you can't do. What's the word I'm looking for? I've forgotten the word I'm looking for now. Intergender matches. Because I would have liked the idea to potentially do. Maybe Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Nope. Daniel Bryan and Nikki Bella. The one that Daniel Bryan's married to versus John Cena and the one that John Cena's married to. It's Daniel Bryan and Brie, isn't it? Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus John Cena and Nikki Bella. I thought would have been a pretty decent idea of a match for WrestleMania, wouldn't it? But no intergender matches. They used to have intergender matches, didn't they? Don't seem to have them anymore. But there was a lot of stuff they used to have on the game that they don't have anymore. Big knee to the face there by Nikki Bella. So yeah, 1 count. Nikki now just twisting the head of Carmella. Oh, really wrenching it. And I think these two guys have had a really... I think these two girls, sorry, have had a really good feud as well, actually. They seem to have done... They seem to have really done well. Say, Carmella's been a really good heel since she's been there. And Nikki's done a good job of coming back in as a pretty good face. I was really annoyed at the beginning. The fact that they put Nikki straight back in and forced Carmella to go heel, but it seems to have worked well for everyone. Nikki Bella now with the elbows to the shoulder of Carmella. Now, of course, if you are still watching, then thank you. But we do have a big main event coming up for you this evening. It is going to be a tag team match as we see AJ Styles teaming with Luke Harper to take on Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt. So a really big match for WrestleMania, a match with big implications for Fastlane. As Nikki Bella lining up Carmella. But Carmella fights back with that big forearm. Oh, and she's got the submission locked in. Nikki's close to the ropes and does manage to hook the rope. Leg drop by Carmella. Now she drags Nikki away from the rope, should I say. 1, 2, I need a 2 count. Drop kick to the side of the head. And Carmella is really in control of this one. Stamped on the back of the arm of Nikki Bella. I do like Carmella's submission hold, actually. It's quite a cool little move. Carmella dropping legs across the thighs of Nikki Bella's. Painful move, that one. There's the pin. 1, 2. I need a 2 count. Can Carmella finish this one off? Head scissors with a couple of elbows into the forehead. Carmella now bringing Nikki Bella back up to her feet. She just needs that one big move to finish this match off. She has locked in her submission hold, but it wasn't quite enough because Nikki was too close to the ropes. And again, it's like I said earlier in the previous match with Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. If they'd just moved their opponent into the middle of the ring a bit more, then they could have picked up the victory. It's just the game doesn't seem to have that intelligence when it really needs it. Big superplex there by Nikki Bella, but Carmella playing possum there, tripping Nikki over, going for a pin of her own. Ooh, that was a possibility, that one, I must admit, because the damage that had been done there by the superplex had also quite a chunk of damage done to Nikki Bella, because you've got to think that she's got to drop back first off that middle rope as well. Oh, Carmella gets caught. Forced straight across the knee of Nikki Bella. There's the pin. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Nikki Bella. See, Eve Marie still disappeared, didn't she? I know she had her drugs fail and then she went to film a movie. There's the X Factor. And that should be game, set, match here for Nikki. Drops into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. Victory here for Nikki Bella over Carmella. And that's no surprise there. I think ratings-wise, this was always going to be the way it was going to go for me. It would have been a surprise victory if Carmella had pulled it off. But for long periods of this match, it looked like Carmella was on top and could pull it off. But there you go. So well done to Nikki Bella. That's going to force her further up the women's rankings. And of course, Trish Stratus getting that opportunity next Sunday at Fastlane. But there's always that match at WrestleMania. And talking of the women's division, here comes Trish Stratus, the #1 contender for that SmackDown Live Women's Championship. We're going to give another try to these promos, mainly because the games booked this one themselves. So we'll have to see if it works. I don't think Trish has set up in a feud, to tell the truth, so this would literally be an independent promo. So let's see what Trish has got to say. So you're expecting somebody else. It sucks when things don't work out and you want them to, huh? So do me a favour and stuff those fat mouths of yours with some hot dogs while I say what I need to say. Oh, so Trish going heel by the looks of it here. The WWE hasn't been what it could have been for a very long time. And that's why I get when you guys are frustrated. I was a fan too. Hell, I still am a fan. And fans know they deserve better. And that's what's been going on lately around here. Well, we all deserve better. So is that why Trish returned? Does she think that the women's division is not what it could have been? I can't stand the fact that the Authority acts like they're untouchable and can decide my future. My future is in my hands. And right now, I'm saying it's time for everyone to take notice. The Authority can keep trying to keep me down, but I'm not going to let them anymore. Yeah, these promos are a little bit random, aren't they? There's a pay-per-view on the horizon, and I can't think of any other place to make my mark. I don't care which woman I face, because I'm going to show them what I have to be a champion here in the WWE. Well, of course, we know that Trish is going to be taking on Becky Lynch one-on-one for that Women's Championship. You know that I'll do this all for you, so thank you for always being there for me. I had a chance to entertain you guys in the past, and now it's my time to really wow you. So get excited because things are about to change for the better. It weren't too bad of a promo, that. It sort of made sense. Saying that wrestling's not what it used to be in the women's division. She's going to make her mark at Fastlane. But it is a pretty good promo. And here we are. You see Dean Ambrose and Hideo Itami here backstage. Oh, Hideo's starting. Oh, very interesting. And here we go. The brawl continues. Saw Hideo just turning on Dean Ambrose here backstage. And Ambrose... Well, Hideo, you may have played this one badly because I was already mentioned earlier about Dean Ambrose's career in Combat Zone Wrestling. So attacking Dean Ambrose backstage with all the weapons and the environment is probably not the wisest idea for Hideo. And of course, this came around when Hideo Itami made his debut at the Royal Rumble. He made his debut and eliminated Dean Ambrose within just about 30 seconds of entering the ring. Dean Ambrose was furious, and over the last couple of weeks, Dean Ambrose has challenged Hideo Itami, and so far, Ambrose has beaten Itami in both matches, but it looks like the tensions between these two are finally boiling over with this attack backstage. Well, it was... Oh my god, I just saw that. Dean Ambrose just powerbombed Hideo Itami onto a trash can in the locker room. That is crazy. So yeah, you see tensions are finally boiling over. Hideo's been incredibly frustrated after losing both matches to Dean Ambrose over the last couple of weeks. He made a really good debut in the Rumble, but just can't seem to do it in singles competition here on SmackDown Live. But I think he's going to get another chance. What? See how it happens here with this backstage brawl, I suppose. And I'm sure this is not the last we'll see of these two. I'm sure we'll probably end up having a match between these two at Fastlane. Big uppercut there by Hideo. Hooking Ambrose in. Fisherman's Michinoku driver. And now Hideo has that little set of shelves. Changes his mind now. I don't know what he was going to go for there. Bringing Ambrose back up into a neckbreaker. Again, Hideo bringing Ambrose back up straight into that case there on the outside. One of these storage containers they use to carry things in and out of the arenas. We see Hideo going for a suplex. Ambrose blocks it and goes for a suplex of his own. It's a shame that they never seem to go any higher up, do they? They always seem to stay around here. I'd like to see them go further up towards the interview area. Oh, Ambrose has the arms hooked. Oh, dirty deeds. Dean Ambrose hits Hideo Itami dirty deeds. He's not even finished. He's going to continue the assault now, sending Hideo back into that case once again. And now into... Oh, that looked painful, that did. Hideo ended up head first in the trash can. Oh, and now Dean Ambrose trash can to the back. Went for a neck breaker, but Hideo slides free. And Dean again just throwing Hideo back through the doorway. Ambrose now sending Hideo back into another case. Slamming him head first off of it again. And a running bulldog slamming Hideo's face off the concrete on the outside. Hideo Itami is really taking some damage here. Like I said, when you fight something like Dean Ambrose in his element, that's probably not a wise idea, but Itami went for the double axe handle. Ambrose slid free, right hand to the gut, and again, there's nobody. I'm surprised the referees aren't coming along to try and break this. Oh, Ambrose is right on top of that bit of a checker plate there, that steel. Oh no, Ambrose, no. Oh, he double arm DDT, dirty deeds him into the steel checker plate. And there's no way Itami was getting it from that. And as you can see, Itami has now suffered a head injury. And he's also just become a heel as well, apparently. Wow, look at Ambrose is on a 10 times momentum boost. Wow. We'll have to consider that when we come to WrestleMania because he is in top form. And it is time now for our main event of the evening. Like I said, it is going to be AJ Styles teaming with Luke Harper to take on the team of Bray Wyatt and Samoa Joe. A bit of a random looking match, but of course it is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe next weekend, and it is also going to be Luke Harper taking on Eric Rowan next weekend. And if Luke Harper does pick up the victory over Eric Rowan, then he will get his hands one-on-one with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Yep. And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. The man I never thought I would ever see inside a WWE ring. I'd had many discussions with my friend about it over the years, saying that Vince would never go for somebody who was so recently in TNA, but evidently we were all wrong. And you see people like Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode and Eric Young and Roderick Strong and Austin Aries all signing for WWE now. It makes you realise the sort of talent that TNA had at their disposal, which they just didn't seem to know how to use. It's quite embarrassing, really, if you look at it from TNA's point of view. It's like, how do we have all these quality people? And don't get me wrong, they used some of them really well at some points. Like Austin Aries, when he had his first sort of main event run, when he invented Option C, that was really good. That was one of the top moments for me over a long time in wrestling, because I was a massive Austin Aries fan, and to see him win that championship I thought was fantastic. But yeah, I think since then they've really they dropped the ball with AJ Styles. Literally he'd been turned almost into a mid-carder in TNA, and then he left and went to New Japan and as a main eventer. And it's just crazy, isn't it, to think that that's the way it happened. And it's going to be interesting to see whether AJ Styles can really team up with Luke Harper effectively. Of course, both these guys are not really known for their friendship to each other, are they, really? I think this is more of going to just be two guys teaming together for the common good. They both want to get one over on their opponents for next weekend. Of course, Luke Harper's not get one over his opponent. Luke Harper's desperate to get his hands on Bray Wyatt after Bray turned on him at the Royal Rumble. And of course, AJ Styles desperate to get his hands on Samoa Joe. Those two guys will be facing off for the Smackdown Live World Heavyweight Championship next week at Fastlane. So it's like I said, it's a real interesting match where there's a lot of dynamics. And if we're going to see some of these guys in the ring together, are we going to see any potential way for either of them to build up some momentum before the matches next week? It'd be glorious. Glorious. No, I won't do this. I won't do that. I can't remember the lyrics. I'm sure I saw on Twitter that if you've watched NXT Takeover Toronto, was it Takeover Toronto? The last Takeover. I'm sure it was Takeover Toronto. Sasha Banks was actually part of the chorus, part of the choir, which I think was pretty cool. I know it's pretty good if you think about it, because Sasha Banks is a proper wrestling fan, and that's the main reason why I think she gets involved, because she's marking out just as much as anyone else is. Like if you watch a lot of the NXT shows, she normally is front row, especially when I don't know if she is anymore. She was, of course, when Bayley was still there. Do 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 do. I like this song. I do. It's strange and it's quiet, but I do like it. So of course, it's going to be an interesting dynamic as well between Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt. Both of them known to have pretty short fuses, and I don't think they're going to take for much aggression from each other to cause major problems. So this match could really be as much about sort of keeping some clarity within your team as it will be for actually winning. I think that's a good one to try and sort of keep an eye on. Is Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt going to be able to work together? And are AJ Styles and Luke Harper able to work together? And if they are, then I think both these teams could be incredibly dangerous to the other one. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow. I have a feeling that Mr. Joe will be debuting on the main roster soon. Now, I thought I couldn't understand for the life of me why Joe defeated Nakamura at TakeOver Toronto. Now I know the exact reason. It's twigged in my head only a couple of hours ago. I've twigged it, right? Joe defeated Nakamura because in about a week or so's time, it may have actually already happened, we've got NXT TakeOver Tokyo or something like that. They're doing a special NXT show in Japan. TM61 have got a tag team championship shot against DIY, simply because TM61, of course, spent a lot of time in... I don't think they were New Japan. They weren't New Japan, whether they were Big Japan. Is it Big Japan Pro Wrestling? I think it might have been. It's the other Japanese company. I can't remember which one it is now. So they've obviously got that. And of course, Shinsuke Nakamura has his rematch against Samoa Joe. Now, I think the idea is for Shinsuke Nakamura to get the big victory. Oh, here comes Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan making his way out to ringside, obviously to obviously try and get under the skin of Luke Harper, I would imagine, and try and help Bray Wyatt pick up the victory. Yeah, so my opinion is that Shinsuke Nakamura will win the NXT Championship back at that TakeOver Toronto, TakeOver Tokyo, whatever it's going to be called. Basically, the NXT special show in Japan. I'm sure that's going to happen because they know they're going to get a massive pop with that happening. And then that, of course, will lead... I'm not going to tell you the who's... because I know I read the spoilers. I know not everyone does, but I already know who the #1 contender for the NXT Championship is, and I'm sure quite a few of you guys already know because you probably go out and read the results yourself as well. But either way, it's gonna be pretty good, I think. And of course, they have already announced that next NXT takeover is going to be the Royal Rumble weekend, which I've tried to book off work and I can't because somebody's already booked it off on holiday. I'm gutted. Means I'm going to have to watch Royal Rumble probably first thing the next morning. Gonna have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch NXT before, to go watch Royal Rumble before I go to work. I can't believe I'm going to do that. I've already booked a WrestleMania weekend for next year though. Done that already. Want to make sure this time that I get on top of things like that. Big Samoan drop by the Samoan submission machine Samoa Joe. Lots of S's on there. Glad I haven't got much of a lisp. Samoan Thamithimithine. Samoan Thamithimithine. Could be a tricky set of sentences to say. And here comes Luke Harper. One of my favourites. I know I say it every single week, but one of my favourites in the WWE at the moment, Luke Harper. I'm a massive fan of his. And I'd love to see this whole Luke Harper leaving the Wyatt family storyline happen in real life. And there you see Rowan getting under the skin of Luke Harper. Luke Harper, though, fighting back and catching Samoa Joe with that belly-to-belly suplex. Luke Harper. I'll tell you what, Luke Harper looking good here in a realm of main eventers. Luke Harper does not look out of place, does he? Sit-out powerbomb on Samoa Joe. Harper rolling Joe over for the pin. See Bray Wyatt not even trying to come in the ring to break it up. In the end, he didn't need to, but interesting. Now, Luke Harper does bring in AJ Styles. And again, Luke Harper with a Saito suplex on Joe. And I think Luke Harper accidentally broke that up. Styles now springboard 450 on Samoa Joe. And Styles will be enjoying this. Styles will be enjoying getting one over on his opponent for next weekend, of course. And what a match that's going to be. Think about it. One-on-one, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Fastlane. That is going to be an incredible, incredible match. And of course, Fastlane also we have another main event put together of course, Sami Zayn defending his Universal Championship against Kevin Owens. There's the pin here by Luke Harper on Samoa Joe, and they nearly picked to the victory there. See, Bray Wyatt brought a chair into the ring. AJ Styles caught him before he had a chance to use it. And so far, the team of AJ Styles and Luke Harper working together very well. However, it is Samoa Joe now who is in control of the match, taking the top off the turnbuckle pad. Power slam there by Samoa Joe. And it looks like that little bit of confusion around about the tag has now brought Samoa Joe in control of this match. And as you can see now, as soon as Samoa Joe gets Luke Harper under control, Bray Wyatt is more than happy to make the tag and enter the ring. Bray with that kick across the chest, but Harper fights back with that boot to the gut. Bray with a jawbreaker and into an STO. And now you see Eric Rowan. And Bray Wyatt finally just had enough. Bray Wyatt just attacking Luke Harper with the chair. Why has that come up? The game is so bugged. It still is really, really bugged. But Bray Wyatt, as you see, getting his team disqualified, just attacking Luke Harper with a chair. He didn't want any more of this match. And Bray Wyatt taking the easy way out. Like I said, I've already announced it is going to be Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan at Fastlane. If Luke Harper defeats Eric Rowan, then Luke Harper will get a one-on-one match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Eric Rowan will be banned from ringside. So that is a big, big match coming up there for Luke Harper at Fastlane. So, of course, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode of the Smackdown. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please really help me out by